You're listening to Food Rebels, and welcome. This is the podcast that brings you brands, chefs, and live on-air tastings. A show that's dedicated to the more rebellious side of the food world, where we celebrate the people who have challenged the status quo. We'll be giving you a peek behind the curtains and inside the minds of the people who are shaking up our food industry. You know me, I'm the show host, AJ Sharp, taste expert, food writer, great taste food judge, and of course, business owner. I love meeting new people and tasting new foods. So, sit back as we hear more stories from people in food who dare to be different. Today is a very special episode of Food Rebels. We are currently at Bread and Jam, which is the festival for entrepreneurs and food challenger brands. And we are meeting loads of really exciting different founders, chefs, and other people who are connected to the industry today. So I am joined now by Joe Woolf, who has been on the show before as the founder of Tasty Mates. Joe, what are you up to at the moment?
Loads of things, random things. Still a little bit in the sweet world. We do white label gummies for other companies now. Support a range of brands getting into independence, and then excitingly heading up the retail strategy over at Home Cooks, which is a new frozen and chilled ready meal range.
Amazing. Home Cooks, I haven't heard of it. So what kind of food do you create?
Yeah, it's a really interesting business because it started over COVID, where they essentially supported independent chefs and restaurants selling. So when they had to shut their restaurants, make their product, their best dishes, freeze them up, and we would sell them through our Facebook marketplace. And then over time, we sort of took the best recipes and the best performing SKUs and scaled them for production, worked with the chefs, kept the integrity of the recipes, and basically give independent chefs and restaurant chefs the opportunity to get into retail now through our sort of Home Cooks brand.
That's amazing. And where can people listening to this buy Home Cooks?
So currently, we only launched retail in a couple of months ago, but we are with GoPuff. We are across a range of independents, farm shops, delis, local budgeons, and also rolling out into a couple of other stores soon, which hopefully, fingers crossed, that all goes to plan. And I think that's one of the things I learned from my Tasty Mates time is we started off, our first distributor was a major distributor. We got 250 odd stores. And one of the things I would take away from that is we didn't have an independent strategy from the outset, which ate into our margins. It also, our whole marketing spend went straight onto that specific store. So I've been very keen to push this independent strategy as the lifeblood and the foundation of everything we're doing at Home Cooks, to then grow from that and get slightly bigger and bigger distribution.
So by your independent strategy, what you mean is selling through independent fine food stores and food halls and farm shops all around the UK, so that everyone, wherever they live in the UK, should find that they can buy this in one of their local stores.
Yeah, exactly. And it also helps us learn the product, learn what's working for us, learning the right price point, the right deals we should do, the right positioning. Building those relationships with those independent stores is obviously a lot easier, and you can learn your demographic a lot quicker. Obviously, it is a slower process for distribution and sales, but it gives us that foundation when we do go to those bigger places to say, you know what, we know what works. This is the proof.
That's fantastic. What is the most exciting trend in food and drink at the moment, in your opinion? I'm going to put you right on the spot here with this one.
Sure. I mean, maybe it's a bit biased me saying, considering I'm coming at this from a Home Cooks perspective, but frozen is unbelievable at the moment. I'm seeing brands coming in, certainly in the last year or so, rate of sales shooting up, and buyers being really excited about what frozen has to offer. I think there's a lot of perks to being frozen from a supplier point of view, from a distribution point of view. Obviously, shelf life is something that customers and consumers are conscious about as well, and that does help. Convenience also plays into that. But I think the frozen market, certainly in the last year and over the next year, is growing massively, and it's really exciting to be a part of that.
Do you think that's a lot to do with sustainability and the fact that in frozen there tends to be a lot less waste?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's in the consumer mindset, but it's also in a buyer mindset. And when cost of living becomes a thing and is a thing, it's something that just plays on everybody's mind. And waste is unaffordable now. And unfortunately, with fresh produce, waste is obviously going to be a lot higher. And there are some really good, exciting frozen options out there that tick all those boxes, that fresh in terms of health and wellness and protein and calories and all of that. So yeah, I think frozen is the way of the future.
That's amazing. And since we're here at Bread and Jam, which is, the biggest festival of independent entrepreneurs in the UK and challenger brands, what are the brands that you are most looking forward to listening to over the next couple of days, learning from? Which are the ones to watch that you're really excited about, apart from home cooks, of course?
Well, I think there's a lot of brands here that aren't necessarily in speaking positions, but are around and meeting and networking with them. The Good Grain is one of my favourite ones. Jubilee, I don't know if you've met her, but it's an incredible product. It tastes amazing, it looks amazing, and they're making moves. I see that as something to watch out for. And I think we've met over the last couple of hours. We've only been here for a few hours so far, but we've met some really exciting people. Speaking to Dominique at the Wolf's Kitchen and speaking to Dan at Soul Fruits and stuff like that, seeing what they're doing and how they want to go with their products is really, really exciting.
Brilliant. Both previous guests on the show, actually. Yeah, fantastic. Joe, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks, AJ.
I'm really excited to have bumped into Millie Bagot from By Ruby. Millie, can you tell us a little bit about By Ruby?
Hi, yes. So we make the most delicious frozen meals in the market. So everything's cooked by hand in our kitchen in West London, and then we freeze it straight away. It's all your favourite hearty family classics, things like lasagnas, curries, fish pie, everything that you'd hope you'd had the time to make yourself, but sadly most of us don't. So all cooked with real ingredients and then frozen straight away.
Incredible. And in terms of kind of food trends at the moment, we've just had a guest on who said that freezer food and frozen food is absolutely the hottest thing of 2025. Would you agree with that?
Well, 2025 is the year of frozen. Whoever your guest was is really in the know there. Absolutely, frozen is booming, and it's super exciting seeing the innovation there. As By Ruby, PACT doing delicious frozen vegetables and fruit. And then I'm seeing, I think fiber's going to be the next thing. I think fiber's the next protein. So I think anything that is natural, things like boiled beans, doing really well there. They've completely elevated a category which has otherwise been quite boring. And I think another trend that I'm keeping an eye on is miso, because I think that's grown hugely, and it's super exciting the way that people are using miso differently, in chocolates or, Miso Tasty did such a great job in really elevating that. And I think there's loads more to come on that front.
Yeah, we've seen miso as a great taste judge. There was a lot of different categories that involved miso, like you say, chocolate or ice cream or something that you wouldn't really expect that combination to be with. Going back to By Ruby, where can we buy it?
So a large proportion of our business is still online, and our independent stockists are really, really important to us. So we have branded freezers in lots of farm shops and independent stores. But very excitingly, we've recently launched on Ocado with 6 of our products, including our serves for lasagna, which is quite a new one for us, really trying to access that family and entertaining market. And then we're also in a few Sainsbury's stores with our branded freezers. So yes, that's also really exciting. They're just trialing it in interesting places around the store. So perhaps in fresh where you might not necessarily expect to see frozen. So there again, looking at frozen in a completely different way as something that can be innovative and exciting and really high quality, which is the way that we see it.
That's amazing. So who are your customers? Who are the main people that buy By Ruby?
So predominantly when we first started, it's people like me. So I'm 40. So our customer tends to be between around 35 and 45. They've usually got a family. So they probably live in a city and are just strapped for time. It's probably 2 working parents where they just don't have the time to make something that is super delicious in the evening, but they really care about what they're putting into their bodies. So that's where we first started. Increasingly, we're seeing a slightly older consumer as well. So maybe people are buying for their parents or grandparents, people where they really want to just give them something nourishing and delicious, like a sort of care package. So that's another market as well. So yeah, I'd say our core market is between 35 and 45, but then we have also got that slightly older consumer too.
That's fantastic, because I do, even as a keen cook and as a self-professed foodie, I do buy instant meals when I need them. There are moments, particularly if my husband's away and the kids have gone to bed, you just want something really quick, but you want something nourishing. But I'm always really worried about the kind of ultra-processed angle, and I'm really worried about what else has been put into it. But it sounds like you guys are very meticulous about the ingredients that you're using.
Gosh, completely. And that's something that I'm completely passionate about. I hate the thought of ultra processed ingredients, and I genuinely think they do harm to your body. So that we use real whole ingredients in our dishes. Everything is cooked by hand. And then the beauty of frozen is that you don't need any preservatives at all. So even when some brands may declare themselves fresh, in fact, there are extra things that they have to add to maintain the shelf life. Whereas with frozen, you just freeze it straight away. It's like pressing pause on the freshness until you're ready to press play again. So yeah, I think that's what's so exciting about frozen. And I think we're trying to change that. People have maybe thought that frozen is only for sort of cheap, low quality, quick food, where in fact, if we go back to centuries where people have frozen food for preservation in a natural way, or if I look at how my granny used to fill her freezer and, to feed a big family, that's ultimately what we're doing, but just on a slightly bigger scale.
Fantastic. So interesting. And you've already mentioned PACT and you've mentioned Bold Bean Co. What is your brand to watch this year, or is it one of those two?
I think both of those two are making huge strides already, and I'm so impressed by them. A salad dressing brand I really love called All Dressed Up, which again, it's a category which I've always been underwhelmed by shop bought salad dressings. And I met Tessa, the founder, at I think the Specialty Fine Food Fair a couple of years ago, and she's just making very delicious dressings made with real ingredients and things that I genuinely would have in my fridge at home, where otherwise I've always been a bit underwhelmed. So I think that's one to watch as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, Millie.
No problem. Nice to see you.
Well, I'm really happy to bump into an old friend, Mitch Lee, who came on the Food Rebels podcast in one of its earliest ever episodes when he was representing Purezza. He's now running Unfounders and working for a brand. Tell me everything that you are up to at the moment, Mitch.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. So I'm now Senior National Account Manager at PACT. So PACT do frozen organic fruits and vegetables in curbside recyclable paper packaging. So we're the first to kind of put paper in frozen. And yeah, I started in January, absolutely loving it. And as you mentioned, alongside that, I run the Unfounders, which is a podcast all about celebrating employees. Most podcasts always focus on the founders, and I want to get to the people behind the scenes, the unsung heroes, and hear their stories from sales, marketing, finance, operations, whatever it is. A brand would be nothing without the teams, and I'm shining a light on that.
I love that about that, because we always joke that you're like the best founder that was never actually a founder, because you're so happy to go out there and put your face in front of things and just be there, like right now where you're representing PACT. And I want to hear more about PACT. Fantastic to shine a light on the team. I know certainly I couldn't have done half of what we've done without such an amazing team around me. Big shout out to Claire and Sam. Tell me more about PACT.
PACT's been going about 11 years now. So founded by Alex and Luke. They set out to essentially make superfood smoothie mixes. So this was at a time that Innocent was in its peak. They were going, well, why are people buying pre-made? It could have been pasteurized. It could be other things in it. Why can't you just make something nice and healthy at home? So they created frozen superfood smoothie mixes. And from there, over the 11 years or so, the brand's evolved and changed. And now what we're really, really passionate about is the incredible produce, which is organic. It's better for the environment, better for the soil health, and really championing frozen. I know you've spoken to a lot of frozen people today as well. So 2025 is the year of frozen. Keep saying it, tell your friends. But PACT really have the opportunity to thrive in this space. On Ocado, we do really, really well, but later this year, we've got some bricks and mortar listings coming up, and it's a really exciting time for organic and for frozen, and we really want to shine a light on what that is.
So you've just mentioned Ocado. Where can we buy PACT?
Yeah, Ocado have nearly 25 of our products. That's from single ingredients like blueberries or mangoes to spinach, which comes as loose leaf instead of those pucks that everyone does, which are terrible. So you can just have a nice loose leaf, sprinkle it in. But we are also in Whole Foods. We do D2C. We've got a great network of independent farm shops and independents up and down the country. So lots of places. But watch this space for September this year.
And are most of your customers keen cooks, or is it just about people who want to preserve the fruit and vegetables that they're eating, or is it about the freshness that you guys are offering? What is it that people choose PACT for?
I think for us, a lot of it is to do with quality. Now, we're not trying to take anything away from fresh. Fresh produce is great when you can get it, but obviously shelf life can change, especially if you get organic. The actual shelf life on things can be a couple of days. So to have that ability to have incredibly fresh produce that's picked and frozen the same day is great any year, all year round. So no matter seasonality and all these things, that if you're looking to kind of eat seasonally, actually you might want strawberries all year round, but they're not being grown right now. So actually having frozen gives you that ability to do it. And we're really looking for, like, a lot of our customers are people that are like, I just love the fact that we've got diced sweet potato that you can cook straight from frozen, and it's really easy. You don't have to worry about peeling it. It's convenient. We do frozen avocado, which is kind of one of our kind of biggest niches and things that people know us for. And for me, with a 18-month-old daughter, it's an absolute game changer. There's zero prep. I can literally chuck it in the microwave. It's a bit faux pas, but I do it anyway. You can just let it defrost and then eat it, but it means you can simply have like 4 or 5 cubes of avocado, perfectly ripe every time. You're not playing that avocado roulette. And something like 1.3 billion tons of avocados are wasted every single year. And in terms of food waste, there's so many horrendous stats around how much food we waste. And frozen is just such a phenomenal way of combating that. So that's what we're really passionate about.
Yeah, fascinating. I think avocados also contribute to the highest percentage of kitchen injuries, don't they? Be careful of avocados, you may go to hospital. What's the most exciting trend in food and drink at the moment?
I mean, I'm just going to plug frozen. I think frozen is definitely where it's at right now. There's a lot of innovation. It's no longer about that cheap, commoditized, like no value, low quality. You've got really high quality produce, from dim sum to desserts to all sorts in the freezers. Obviously, there's loads around functional foods and drinks, whether that's mushrooms, whether that's health stuff, like gut health is just thriving. There's great kefir brands, all sorts going on. But yeah, essentially people are looking at more natural, healthy ways of improving fitness and wellness and actually going back to real food, which is great.
Absolutely. And what is the brand that you think that you've seen that's really excited you, that you think is one to watch and you can't choose your own one?
This is really tough. I speak to amazing brands all the time. First one, top of the mind. It's really tough. I think there's lots of amazing things like in the kimchi space, like really good fermenters. I mean, I love kombucha. Momo are just thriving from strength to strength. They're probably one of my favorites. I mean, Bold Bean's been mentioned. They're doing great things for the bean space. Mr. Organic is a great all-rounder brand for anything and everything organic, all made in Italy. Everything's vegan, from their pestos and all sorts. So I think probably Mr. Organic's almost like an unsung hero. They do really well in certain niches, but like their pesto, you wouldn't know it's vegan, suits everyone, and it's just such an easy midweek staple. Obviously chucking in some packed spinach.
Love it. I will definitely check that out. Mitch, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
I've just been joined by Rikki Tooley. Tell me about your brand.
Hi, I run Easton Chilli. I make chili jam and hot sauce in Bristol. Started in COVID on my kitchen table, and almost 5 years later, I'm just opened a premises and I'm looking to scale up.
What kind of a premises? Like a factory?
Yeah, it's a converted warehouse unit. We've got a clean, HACCP compliant kitchen in there. At some point, we'll look to do salsa, but at the moment, it's just looking to catch up with all the orders we have.
Amazing. And what was the kind of problem or the need that you saw that you decided to solve when you created this brand?
Well, okay. So specifically, I started with chili jam and started around 2017. And all the ones on the market at that time just weren't the right flavor for me. They were a little bit too sweet and artificial. I could taste they all use white sugar and red peppers and, cheap ingredients. So I just wanted to make one that was a little bit different. So I used roasted yellow peppers and brown sugar just for more like complex flavor. And then, COVID hit. started as a side project and then started selling to my friends and family and then online. And yeah, it's just going from there.
Amazing. And did you just tell me off air that you have a 3-star? What's your hero product?
Yeah, so my best seller is black garlic chili jam. Got 3 stars at Great Taste in 2023. Yeah, really surprised to get that. I was in my tent at Glastonbury when I got the call. I think it was the Friday. Yeah, really cool news to get.
Amazing. And how do we use black garlic chili jam?
So the black garlic jam specifically, it is perfect with a tangy, like really strong cheddar on a cheese board and a toasty. It's also really good in like a bacon sandwich. Basically, anyway, you'd use a brown sauce or like a Branston pickle.
Oh, amazing. Can't wait to try it. And what's the most exciting trend that you think's going on in food and drink in the challenger world at the moment?
Well, for me, it's got to be fermentation. I feel like every new brand is like trying to put it in somewhere or some way. And it's like a health angle, but it's also like a flavor angle. So yeah, I use fermentation in a lot of my hot sauces. I use it mainly for preservation, for a lot of my chili products. And it just makes getting the supply of certain chilies a lot easier to manage because I can ferment them and then have them all year round. But yeah, that's the big trend I see in drinks.
I love it. Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. And what is the most interesting or rebellious brand that you think you're not allowed to choose your own? What's your favorite brand out there at the moment that you think is doing really exciting things?
You're putting me on the spot there.
Yeah, I know. Give you just a second. I mean, we've had 3 people say Bold Bean Co. so far, so you can't choose them either. I'm taking them off.
I do like Bold Bean Co. I think it's extremely brave to go after Branston as the best type of bean, baked bean.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's got to be Branston.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's always Heinz. Hilarious.
Too much water. Most rebellious brand.
Or just a brand you like that you think's really exciting. Have you seen anyone here at the show that has really excited you?
I'll tell you what, I feel like a lot of the brands I see, I get really excited by are local brands. And I am from Bristol. And like the brands that you see at this conference, really different set of brands that you see in Bristol and on the shelves. And I don't know if that's just Bristol or if it's like that in every other part of the country, but I really like seeing a brand on the shelf in my local shop that I know is made just around the corner and isn't necessarily looking to be a national brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Rikki. Really, really interesting.
Thanks.
I've just bumped into Katie Truss, who you might know from Good Food. Katie, what are you up to at the moment?
Ooh, well, fabulous food finds is my focus. So that is getting out and discovering amazing artisan and specialty food and drink producers and then sharing them with as many people as I can in various ways.
Fantastic. So can you tell us, what do you think are the most exciting trends at the moment in the food and drink industry?
Ooh, so trends. Well, if I think about what I put into my last tasting box, we had a Dubai chocolate bar and pistachio and that, gosh, you call it all sorts of different things, but basically, you know, the shredded kind of phyllo pastry type thing, knafa. Inside that's a trend. So, being a big trend, matcha is a big trend. My goodness, it's even come up to North Norfolk, which means it must be pretty mainstream right now. Oh, and kimchi. So I had a really cool kimchi talk and I met a lady who is basically a kimchi expert. And she told me that, did you know there's over 200 different types of kimchi and you can even make kimchi out of fruit? And she made an amazing kimchi salt, which was easy to put into my tasting box.
That's amazing. So your tasting boxes, can anyone buy them if they wanted to?
Yeah, so I'm not very good at telling people about them. So yes, it's for people that love food. So every 3 months they will get a box of at least sort of 10 products, and they're either companies that I've known for years or brand new companies that need to be kind of showcased and
have a spotlight on them. So it's $39.95 every 3 months. And then I do a little guided tasting as well. So you'll get your box and then I'll talk through all the products and do a meet the maker session. So you'll be able to meet the person that made it and ask questions. It's quite an informal kind of thing. But they're kind of, I think the people that do get it and subscribe to it love it and enjoy the surprise and the suspense of the box.
This sounds like something that Food Rebels listeners would absolutely love to do. We should totally do a live one of that. That would be so good, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Get people to buy it. Amazing. I love this. What are the most, I guess, rebellious brands out there at the moment who are doing really exciting things?
Oh, rebellious. I don't even know if I'm good at rebellious, but a lovely brand that is kind of bucking up against kind of, I don't know, challenges. There's the Isle of Man Sea Salt Company, lady on her own, taking on the salt industry, which is huge, to create beautiful sea salts on the Isle of Man. And then just to make a business out of it is creating other products with that salt. So an amazing salted caramel, a furry kaki, like seasoning mix, and then like an everything seasoning, like an everything bagel. Rebellious. Do you know what? I don't know if I even I suppose it's just the Rebels podcast. I'm like, why is she asking me about rebellious brands? Who else? I don't know. I'm stumped with rebellious. Lots of lovely chili oil brands who are kind of, pushing boundaries, making cool things. I love Chili Chan's noodles. I don't know if you've seen those. That's kind of rebelling against, like super noodle ramen, just making things a bit different. They are knife cut, sun dried, very cool noodles. I don't know if you've seen those. I can't even think of any rebellious kind of things.
Sounds amazing. It's the sort of challenger brand ethos, isn't it? Of like seeing a problem and knowing how to come in and solve that problem. And today we've just been to a lecture listening to Henry Dimbleby, who wrote the National Food Strategy. It's been absolutely fascinating. What insights have you got from today's lectures that you've found really fascinating?
Ooh, well, yeah, in terms of Henry Dimbleby, I was incredible stats about the amount of people using GLP-1 weight loss drugs, basically, like 1.5 million people on those weight loss drugs and the effect that that's having, whether they're eating, buying less food, drinking less, but also being, and I kind of thought about it myself. If I was on those weight loss drugs, would I be thinking about each meal with the nutrients that I'd be getting from it? So if I was consuming less, I'd want the food that I'm eating to be even more delicious. I wouldn't want to waste those opportunities. That was very interesting. What else did he say that I found interesting? That everything, those products have to taste delicious as well, which kind of aligns that together, doesn't it? That whatever you're doing, it needs to be delicious. And that UPFs, like that avoidance of UPFs isn't going away. That's only growing. And I found a product here actually that was full of UPFs. And I did actually, they were asking for feedback. And I kind of say, that ingredients list is huge. Like that is not, what people are looking for at the moment, is it? But it was very cheap. But yeah.
Interesting. Important feedback to give to a brand in that situation, I should think. Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. If anyone wanted to buy one of your boxes, how do they do that?
Ooh, they can go on my website, which is fabulousfoodfinds.co.uk. They can also come along to live tastings that I do. So if you didn't want to just buy a box, I'm at the Good Food Show at the Goodwood Food Festival in August and the Good Food Show Winter, where I have various different tastings. I could do a festive tasting and a mystery tasting where blindfolds are not required, but it's super fun with introducing like new products. So yeah, through my website or just message me. It's just me behind the business. So email me, message me, DM me, follow me on Instagram. Thank you.
Brilliant. We'll be doing that. Thanks so much, Katie. Take care. I'm really excited to have just bumped into Charlotte Pike, who I have actually co-hosted a podcast, the Food Talk Show, long time ago. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
Hello, I'm really well, thanks. Delighted to be here and to see you again.
So what are you up to at the moment, and how come you're here?
Well, I've been busy writing and I've had a really busy season of food and drink judging, so it's really exciting to be here. I'm joining the tasting table, which means that I'll be tasting products from some amazing producers who are at the start of their journey and offering some hopefully helpful feedback and advice on how they develop their exciting new products.
Brilliant. What is it that you look for in a product when, you know, particularly with your judge's hat on, what is it you're looking for in a really exceptional product? Or what is it you are looking for when you feel like you need to give someone some feedback?
Well, an exceptional product is one that really does have the wow factor. And sometimes it can be quite hard to pinpoint, but it just offers something really, really interesting, possibly unusual, and is just an amazing example of its kind straight away. And actually, even if you're tasting products that you're possibly not familiar with, and I'm sure you know this as well, AJ, you know, it actually, you can have such an amazing sort of surprise and a lovely experience tasting them, even if you don't know, you know, what they should taste like. They just really sort of hit spot and deliver a wonderful experience that lasts long in the memory. And in terms of helping new businesses, I'm going to be analysing their products in the round and talking about, you know, how they can improve things like flavour, texture, presentation, and actually how it will fit the market as well so that the product succeeds. So those are the areas that I'm going to be looking at. And I always believe that, you know, most products will benefit from some feedback. So hopefully it will be a really constructive and positive experience for those producers today.
Absolutely. I always think it's really brave of a producer to know, actually, I do want to go and get some feedback, because it's very easy as a producer, I think, to surround yourself with people who think it's great and not always increase that diversity of palates, especially someone like yourself that's a fully trained chef and cookery book writer, and, you know, you've got that wealth of experience behind you. I'm not really going anywhere with the question there. I wanted to know from you, what's your most exciting trend in food and drink at the moment?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. Well, I'm quite enjoying the focus on health, actually, because I'm really enjoying the number of no-low drinks that are coming out in market at the moment. The number of non-alcoholic alternatives for people who want to avoid alcohol for whatever reason is really exciting. I think that space is getting very interesting, and there's a lot of products there today. And I also think that also follows through in terms of functional food and drink as well. We're seeing lots of products that have, I hate the word, but slightly cleaner ingredients lists, but, you know, consumers are really paying attention to what is going into their products and seeing recognizable and familiar ingredients on lists is really exciting across food and drink, and also added health benefits as well, such as probiotics, extra fiber. That seems like a really exciting move, actually, to be able to buy pre-made food and drinks that has genuine health benefits and a quality about them. So I'm really excited to see that today.
That's really interesting. You're the second person who's actually mentioned fibre. Millie Bagot from By Ruby mentioned fibre, and she's obviously all about really beautiful ingredients. And she talked about, I think I'm wondering, is it because of the high protein trend that we've seen over the last few years that actually protein must be paired with fibre for it to be effective?
I think that's it. People have talked extensively about protein for a very long time, which is obviously important. But actually, we now know that most of us are not getting our recommended fibre intake every day. And actually, virtually everyone needs to do better on the fibre front. You have to make, to some extent, a concerted effort to try and get your fibre. But if you actually get, I understand, if you actually achieve the fibre target per day, you also get the protein as well. So I think it's a really important component in the diet that people are rightly paying attention to at the moment. And I think we're going to be hearing about it more and more, which is a good thing in my view.
I completely agree. And can you tell me, last question, what is your favourite brand or few brands at the moment that you think are doing some really exciting things in the space?
Oh gosh, there are so many. I was really excited to see brands like Firetree, more taste here. There are some absolutely lovely teas like Blensmith here. And also it's nice to see some really iconic brands here, such as Juice D from Modena and Soil Association as well. It's good to see that they're here promoting, great, real, natural, healthy food. So it's a complete mix and it's really exciting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Charlotte.
Thank you for having me. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Food Rebels, which is available on radio stations around the UK and further afield. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Audible. Please remember to subscribe and rate us with 5 stars or follow us. It makes such a difference, not just to our podcast and radio show, but it really helps to support the guests that come on the show with us. We're also on Instagram at food_rebels. So give us a follow, do get in touch. We love hearing from you and let us know what you think. Thanks so much for joining us and make sure you taste the rebellion.